Welcome to Can TV 21 Hotline. What an awesome organization. If you aren't familiar with Can TV, you're missing something. This is one of the great services to the community, this organization. And send them a $10 or $20. They would appreciate it. Believe me. Can TV, just write your check out, put it in the mail, and they say, this is so nice. And they do accept, it's a nonprofit, they do accept contribution. So please, send a donation in to Can TV so they can stay on the air and present wonderful programs like Let's Talk Etiquette. Okay? So now we're going to continue with this fine dining exercise because it's necessary to continue with it, because I want you to have a full lesson on the art of eating at the table with grace and poise. It is such a great art form. When you know it and you got it down, it's like when Tiger Woods hit that ball off the tee and he knows that stroke is perfect and he delivers it with expertise. And so fine dining is just of that magnitude. And it has always been that way from the beginning of civilization. And you now have the benefit of the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois giving you a quick lesson on the art of dining etiquette. Now there's two parts in it. And remember I told you last week is table etiquette and then there's dining etiquette. But before I get into the lesson itself, I notice you see this glass in here. I want to just mention briefly a news flash, okay? I'm just going to lay this up here on top of this and you'll see it some kind of way. Let's see. Okay, that's fine enough. I want to set it up there because I know you probably heard the news that Netflix deal with Barack and Michelle Obama. I know you heard about that great opportunity for our ex-president and his wife. They're going to do some shows with Netflix and just do some great things. But remember, some of my lessons earlier was on this anti-etiquette campaign that the corporations are carrying on today. Well, they're going to do a show that features empathy and understanding. Empathy and understanding. So that's the foundation of the shows they're going to produce over the next several years. And the word empathy is really one of the words that's a cornerstone to etiquette. It's like they take a piece of etiquette and that word is empathy. Empathy and compassion is part of what etiquette is. So rather than say etiquette, they just say empathy. But empathy is kind of a okay word if you really truly understand it, but you have to add compassion to it as well. It's empathy and compassion. They're very close in definition, and I may bring some definitions for you, but you can Google it and see the slight difference in those two words. But they decided to use empathy and understanding. So please go online and read that article on Netflix and Obama's, and you will get a better sense of why the corporations do not want to use the word etiquette. Okay? They don't want to get that out there in your head, that word called etiquette. They want to just dance around it, and they're very good at doing that. They may even throw the word out there, civility, out there occasionally. You know, what happened to civility, right? It's kind of a little higher level than etiquette. Etiquette is for the masses. Civility is kind of like for the select few. Okay? But anyway, getting back to the subject for this evening is fine dining. Now, we did a couple of sessions on table etiquette. And then I said to myself, you know, that's not enough for them to understand this thing called table etiquette, because there's so much involved with it. So I decided to devote another show to this subject of table etiquette so that you will have an opportunity to have a better understanding as well as a better appreciation of it. But call me with your questions. That number right there, 312-738-1060. Call me. I want to hear from you. Okay? Give me a call. But I want to go on to this subject because what I want to talk about today is utensils. Utensils. There are many utensils. There are 15, 20 utensils that go to one person's sitting. Not just a fork, a knife, and a spoon. There are many utensils that go in a complete set so that you will be able to dine and have an appreciation of the proper utensils that you will use in order to do that. So what I've done, I put on the overhead here some utensils. Let me see if I can bring them into view here. Okay, that may be a little large for you to see. So I'm going to hold them up, and that way you can see them in that way. Okay? Okay, I'm holding up two place knives. Let's see, can you see it there? Okay, two place knives here, right? Now one is a salad knife, and the other is a dinner knife. I'm getting them out there where you can see them, okay? Now, if you notice that the salad knife is smaller than the dinner knife, okay? And so I'm looking at them on the monitor a little backwards here. This is your dinner knife, which is the largest one. This is your salad knife, which is the smallest one. The concept is to give you utensils that are different sizes so that you can identify one from the other. It's like baseball is one size ball, basketball is a bigger size, so you know what ball is for what sports. The same thing applies with utensils at the table. And of course, you need to have a salad knife. The salad knife is just as important as the dinner knife because each course should have its own utensils. The salad should have its own utensils. The dessert should have its own utensils. The soup should have, each course should have its own utensils. Okay? So they have removed the salad knife, and even some of your so-called finer restaurants, they'll put two of the same knives at your place setting, identical in size. And they'll do the same with your forks. Okay? Here, you'll see one is larger, smaller than the other one. The dinner fork is larger than the salad fork. Okay? So I have a caller. Caller, what's your question? Yes.
Yes, how you doing? This is Ray.
Hey, Ray, how are you?
Oh, fine. Excuse me, I have a real cold, but listen, all the great accolades that Steve gave you last week,
Yes.
you deserve each and every one of them because it takes a heck of a man to sit there and try to explain to people that don't give a darn. Fine dining to them is using a napkin at McDonald's. That's
Yes.
fine dining to them.
Ray, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Ray, you seem to be my age or closer in that same proximity of age. And so I'm thinking that you have been privileged to see the downgrading of society over the last 30, 40 years. I'm sure you took notice. And if you think about it, the fast food restaurants have taken off since the beginning of McDonald's in the 50s. And now there are hundreds of restaurants all over the community with every kind of food item you can imagine. So how do they coach you out of your kitchen at home to some convenience restaurant where you can have chicken in the bucket or eating out of the bag? See? So how do they grow that industry? They grow it by convincing you that you don't need to have all these utensils anymore. You can eat with your hands. Back in, 1,000 years ago, we ate with our hands, right?
Oh, listen.
We ate with our hands until someone decided to invent a spoon and a knife and a fork. We were savages. So we've returned to the primitive ways of 1,000 years ago so that the fast food industry can make $10 billion. Coaching you out of your kitchen, preparing your own food the way your mother and your grandmother did it, right? And your grandmother had a dining room, a formal dining room, was a separate room that you ate in. And she had a
Oh,
china cabinet over there on the wall, and she was very proud of it. And she had her
oh yeah.
crystal glasses on display for you, right?
Oh
And so
yeah.
she would teach you
Listen.
how to set the table. I learned that
Right.
way, you learned that way. But we have allowed these fast food corporations to trick us into going into their establishment all for convenience. And now the mother or the father don't want to take the time to cook chicken. See? We can run out to Kentucky Fried Chicken and get us a bucket of chicken. Huh?
Yes.
So we've been dumbed down and exploited
Yes.
for the
Okay.
benefit of a few. Just a few. Not the people working in Kentucky Fried Chicken. They get minimum wage. They are working as slave labor. But the ones who are making a fortune from it, us going out there smiling, oh, I'm going to give me some Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh, wow, that'll be easy for breakfast. I'll get it for my kids, and we all eat with our hands and paper napkins. See? So
Okay.
we have to, we at the Etiquette Foundation feel a responsibility to enlighten the community, enlighten people who feel like, why are you going through all that? Nobody interested in that. You see? But if you are educated to understand there's a civility to this, an etiquette to this, then you will appreciate it because what is life anyway? It's values, it's culture. See? And so if you teach your children how to eat this way, you're going to end up with a better household and a better home, and they're not going to be addicted to Kentucky Fried Chicken. They're going to be addicted to their mother's wonderful fried chicken. It smells good in the kitchen cooking, right?
Right.
Okay, so
You
let's get
okay?
back. Let's not let
Well,
them
hold on.
dictate to us
Okay. Let me
how
answer
we
your
should eat
question.
and how we should behave and what we should value. Let's not let them dictate that to us. Let's not let them throw those commercials out every 5 minutes. You get a break in a TV show. You got 12 commercials every 5 minutes, and people smiling at you. Go to Kentucky see. So let's push back on that and get back to family life and all those rituals we did once upon a time. We can return to those. Okay? You know how the pendulum swings? Okay, this is an opportunity
You,
for the pendulum to swing in the other direction and encourage our
okay.
young people get back to doing the family thing, like
Okay.
cooking your meal. Do you know when your mother cooks your food or your father cooks it, it tastes better? You remember your grandmother's cooking today, right?
I sure do.
All right then. See, so you don't forget that. That's a lesson on how to enjoy a wonderful home cooked meal by her
Sure.
hands.
Sure.
She did it.
Can I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Listen. When I was growing up, you sat at that table. Everybody at one time. You didn't talk. You ate.
Right.
Missed it. You're lucky to get some kind of fruit. That was it. After missing once or twice, you don't want to miss anymore. But
Right.
anyway, growing up, that's when you learn everything that you keep in your brain now.
Right.
Just today, everything starts at home. The mothers, the dads, they're all young, and they were taught by their parents, here, go to McDonald's. They don't want to cook.
They don't want to cook. See,
My dad taught me how to cook, and he said, listen, son,
yes,
as long as you know how to cook, you'll never go
they
hungry.
they
And that's
have
true.
they have presented to us these
Yeah, and the
ongoing
kids, yeah,
commercials that
and the kids
persuades
now,
us to go out
and
and
the kids,
do just what
and the
we're
kids
saying.
nowadays,
They go to Kentucky Fried Chicken or Wendy's or one
and
of them other
today,
places,
and
and they're
today,
getting the same thing, and it's so sad that they're not giving their children a home cooked meal at least 5 times a week. But I want to end it there because I
sure.
want to get this kind of through this lesson today. But I appreciate your call, so please don't hesitate to call me next week, okay?
All right,
All right,
I
appreciate it. Okay, back to that. That's a great caller. I like his calls. He covers some things and points out some things that need to be said on this show. So I do appreciate your thoughts on this subject. That needed to be said. So don't hesitate to call me next week and share your thoughts on this great subject. Okay, back to this thing here called table utensils. Let me see if I can get these into focus on this thing here. Let me see, zoom in, see if I can zoom out. Oh, perfect, perfect. Now we can see something. Okay, as you can see here, one of the forks is longer than the other one. So now you know this is your salad fork and this is your dinner fork. Okay? Now in this picture here, we have two knives over here. This little knife is a butter spreader, and the one next to it is a butter knife. Now you know the difference in a butter knife and a butter spreader is the way it's shaped. Now you see how that knife is shaped with that turn and twist in it? That tells you that this is your butter knife. Now this knife remains with the butter tray or the butter dish, and it's passed along with the butter to the next person who wants butter. They would take this knife and take a swab of butter and then place that butter on their bread plate. This knife remains with the butter dish. Now on there, as you remember from last week, as you may remember, that your bread plate is over here. Can you see that? That is your bread plate there, and your butter spreader on that plate. So this is where you would find that little knife called a butter spreader. And some people call it a butter knife, but it's really a butter spreader. Now with these knives I'm showing you, and I'm going to show you a couple more on here so you'll be able to identify some of these other knives. Okay, this knife here is a fish knife. It's got a little smudge on it there, but it's a fish knife. And the way it's shaped a little odd. Oh, there's a good angle of it right there. See the blade? So that tells you it's a fish knife as opposed to a regular dinner knife. And there's a difference in the shape of the knife or blades. So if you see this knife at the table, you know fish is going to be served. And this is why they're giving you a knife that's different in shape and size so that you know the purpose of this knife when you see it at your setting. Okay? So there are several knives, and those 4 there or 5 there are good examples of the knives you may very well see at a dinner setting. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk about the spoons, the soup spoons. Now, as you can see in this illustration here, you see one spoon that has a long oval-shaped bowl to it, and then you see another one with a round configuration of a bowl. Now, when you see this spoon at the table, you know that you're having a different soup than you would have with this spoon. This spoon is your regular soup spoon, meaning you may have meat and potatoes, whatever you may have, a mixed vegetable soup, whereas with this spoon, it's a cream soup spoon. This is why it has a deeper bowl, if you can see the bowl, how deep it is, so that you can hold a liquid without it spilling. And this is why it's shaped the way it's shaped, like a regular glass or cup, so that the liquid in there will not spill. Now, a little bit of information on these spoons. Now, with the cream soup spoon, here's the key to eating soup. Okay? Now, you'll never learn this in any other class. You probably, if you go on YouTube to look for some dining etiquette, fine dining etiquette classes, you won't get this information. Okay? Now, here I have 2 soup spoons. Now, with the regular soup spoon, of course, you're going to always spoon away, right? Never spoon towards you. You're always going to spoon away. And then when you come up to put the soup spoon in your mouth, you're going to go like this, straight into the mouth, right? Now, with your cream soup spoon, this is where the test is done when you go out on a interview luncheon. This is a test that tells your employer, your potential employer, that you are not faking. You know what you're doing. Because you can't do this by accident. Okay, you can't stumble up on guess on this one, right? So now with your cream soup spoon, you do the same motion of spooning away gracefully into the soup. And of course you rotate the spoon to go into the soup in a parallel angle. And then you rotate the spoon level as you scoop up some soup. But the key is when you go to put that soup up to your mouth, you do it and eat from the side of the spoon. Like you point it into your mouth from the side. Never in this direction. Always from the side of the spoon and into your mouth. Now they will know that you know. Ain't no other way they can demonstrate that you know, that you can demonstrate that you know, and they know you know when you eat that soup with a cream soup spoon. It's from the side, and then you rotate the spoon into your mouth. They say, huh, this person here know what they're doing at the table, right? So that's a good example of the two different spoons when it comes to soup. And here's another example. Here are two utensils, and I could put these up on the overhead so you can see them. Okay. Now, when you have a set of flatware, a full complete set, you're gonna get a complete set where you have your dessert spoon and your dessert fork. Now, your dessert spoon and dessert fork are going to be different sizes. Many people use a regular teaspoon as a dessert spoon. But if you got a complete set of flatware, you're going to have an actual dessert spoon. And if you can see, the shape of them are different. This is a regular, got the wrong one. This is a regular teaspoon, and this is a regular dessert spoon. So you kind of see one is a little rounder, more rounded than the other one. This is a teaspoon. This is a dessert spoon. So in your set of flatware, you're going to have a spoon that's specifically designed in shape for using as your soup spoon. Okay? So that's just a kind of touch on spoons, and the same applies with forks. Okay, this is a salad fork, and this is a dessert fork. The one you can see is obviously larger. The salad fork is larger than the dessert fork. Now, manufacturers of flatware or silverware have decided, all the different manufacturers have decided on what constitutes a complete set. And how do you define what a complete set is in terms of the utensils? Now, they may change the patterns, and they often do change the patterns. This is the pattern of the knife. They change the pattern, but the blade or the fork or the spoon or any of the other utensils will be consistent in sizes. So they have a universal size agreement that all of their utensils will have these various sizes in accordance to how to identify them. Okay? So that's a pretty simple lesson on the flatware that you need to have a 4 or 5 course meal. And that's so important to be able to identify these utensils and their specific purpose. And if you can do that, you're going to be just awesome. Okay? Now, one last thing I want to throw out here at you before I close out the show for today is your crystal. Okay? You have regular glass, a dollar store glass, and you have crystal. Okay? Now, this is a crystal wine glass you see here. Now, how do you know it's crystal? It's simple. Listen. Now you know you have a crystal glass in your hands. This glass is about a $50 glass as compared to a dollar store glass that's going to sound like that. Well, with that said, I want to give you our information so that you can contact us And we are right here. Should I try to bring this in? Well, okay. This is not the time to do it. You can reach us at 312-473-2942. You can call us at that number. You can contact us at info@efoi.org, or you can check out our website out at www.efoi.org. So with that said, I'm going to conclude for this evening. Next week, stay tuned because we're going to get into dining etiquette. This is still with table, okay? So I look forward to being with you and giving you an exciting lesson on this artful ritual called table and dining etiquette. With that said, my name is Nathan Wright, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And have a safe holiday. Be safe. Very good. Thank you.